Just reading people's bio, I get to talk a little bit about myself. That's a lot easier than people you've only met over the phone. And then we'll kind of talk a little bit about Custom Bedbug and what we're doing to implement all of the best tools from different things we've learned throughout our experience in the course of our company. And after I introduce myself, I'll introduce Hans, my business partner, and he's going to walk through what's in your guys' notebook and some things that we're doing specifically for KCHA. And then after that, we will bring up the presenters that have been that have presented so far, and we'll do a quick Q&A, try and get as many questions as we can in, and then get you guys out of here and back to work. So I'm from a small town in Idaho. I grew up on a farm. I always have been the guy that I didn't like people telling me what to do or how to do things. Kind of an independent mind. After high school, I started. I served 2 years I served a mission in Chile for my church. So I had 2 years down there, learned Spanish, had a wonderful experience there. Came back and immediately I wanted to do whatever it was that was going to make the most money because I was a starving college student. So at that time it was selling pest control door to door. So I did that for 6 summers. The whole time I was selling, I kept telling everybody, I'm going to start my own company. I'm going to start my own company someday. So finally, after 6 years of selling pest control door to door, kind of got burned out on the pest control thing. I ended up starting a Dish Network retailership and expanded that through several states. After that, I started a screen and window business, and in the meantime, all my buddies that had ended up starting pest control companies, they were fantastically successful, so I decided to sell my screen business, and I started a pest control company. That was in 2006. I grew it to the largest privately owned pest control company in the state of Idaho, and then sold it in 2016, so just last year. Prior to selling it, we were subcontracting out our heat services to a company called Bedbug Thermal Solutions, and they did heat services. In the meantime, Hans was working as our marketing director, really did a lot for the growth of the company. And he was to a point where he wanted to kind of do something on his own instead of working for somebody else, working for me. So he and I decided to start Custom Bedbug. In doing so, our biggest competitor at the time was the company we were subcontracting out to, Bedbug Thermal Solutions. When we started Custom Bedbug, their main guy had been working a lot with Hans. And when he found out that Hans and I were starting our own company, he said, hey, I want to work with you guys. So he left Bedbug Thermal. When that happened, the owner of Bedbug Thermal said, well, that's my main guy. Maybe you guys would be interested in buying my company. So I said, okay, I'll buy your company. So we bought out our biggest competitor in basically our first year of business. And it's been a lot of hard work and ups and downs in the first 2 years, but I've never had a business that failed. Every business that I've ever owned has been an industry leader in our specific, whatever industry I was in. So with Custom Bedbug, we're really big into team building, working as a team. I have a real team mentality. I believe people work better when they're working together. So we try and attract top talent, and in doing so, we also try and make sure that we're working together as a team with our customers, whether it's a single homeowner or it's a big organization like King County Housing Authority. So I also wanted to introduce our guys in the back, our frontline people. So I'll have all our guys stand back here in the back. Walker. So first, Walker Tassin. He's been with us for a long time. He was with us. That's the first time anybody's ever clapped for Walker. So let's give him a double. So Walker's in our Seattle branch up here. Then we have Chase Sorensen. He's the guy, and his sweet wife Cammie. They got stranded on the roadside. Let's give them a round of applause. Then we have Ty Nelson. He's been with us for a long time. He's really awesome. And then we have Adam Maurice. He's been with us for a couple years, and he's awesome. So we're really grateful that you guys have given us this opportunity. I'm going to turn some time. I'm going to introduce Hans and turn some time over to him to kind of go over stuff. So Hans, when we hired him at my pest control company, at the time he was running a what do you call it? It was a drug and alcohol treatment center. And Hans, it was owned by his brother. It was a company owned by his brother. It was a very large company down in southern Idaho. And Hans was basically running that company for his brother. And we knew he had some real strengths from things that we'd heard from other people. So he came on, joined our company as a sales rep. He was really outgoing and energetic, and really did a lot in his position as a salesman to establish himself as a leader. So we kept moving him up the ladder, and until eventually he was running our entire marketing department. And then once he decided that he wanted to be something more than a marketing director, we said, well, let's put you in a position where you can have some ownership, and let's start this company and build it up. So he does amazing things for our company, and he's a great business partner. And I'll turn the time over to Hans to show you guys their website and some of the things we've done for you guys.
Okay. That's the first time they've ever clapped for me, too. So I just want to let you guys know that I know at the end of the day, you have a choice who is your provider. Right, you have a choice. There's multiple people out there that's doing what we're doing. But here's what I guarantee. I guarantee nobody is invested in King County Housing Authority as Custom Bedbug is. Nobody's putting in the time, the hours, the training, the effort, and coming to the properties. And I've personally been to a number of your properties where I've served. I've been there with the canines because I'm very interested in your properties and in your business and what you do. I met with Burgundy, and we went over about 6 months ago. We had a meeting at your corporate office, and they talked about some of the concerns that the King County would have, and obviously bed bugs is a concern. And I wish I could come here and tell you today that the things that we're going to teach you today, they're going to solve your problems, and you'll never have bed bugs again. I'm sorry, that is not the message that I'm bringing. However, the message that I'm going to bring is that we're going to come in here and we're going to help you. We're going to help you control the bed bug problems, and we're going to help you figure out ways to A, do it for yourself, and B, the best tools of the trade and the best ways to solve it. Bed bugs are not going anywhere. Everything on the trajectory is going up. They're getting worse and worse everywhere. But we're going to help you with that. And so in this meeting that I had with Matt, and we talked about some of the concerns. So one of the concerns was they're like, well, we have all these people that don't understand the expectations, and so things aren't getting done correctly. And so he says, is there any way we can do some stuff in different languages? And so we said, yeah, we can. So we sent off all of our documentation into different languages, and we sent it out, and we had linguists come in, and they translated it all out, and it was all great. But then we missed the ball, all right? I'll be the first to admit when we made a mistake. We assumed that all of your customers that spoke these languages read them, and they don't, right? You could have told me that, and I could have probably saved a couple $1,000, but they don't. They speak it, but they don't necessarily read it. And so we're like, well, that's really, really weird. What do we need to do? And so we put our heads together and we came up with some solutions. So the first thing is so these binders that you have here, we are not trying to kill every tree in Idaho to print a bunch of these. So the reason we have these is we'd like you to take them back to the individual properties that you have. Everything that is in this binder, we have created a website for it, so we don't have to keep printing stuff out and these things. We've made it very, very easy to get the same information. So this is for the properties. Get it back, if you can, get it back to the properties. But I just want to quickly go over a couple key things that we've done. So the very first thing is you open up here and it says the website. We have created a website called mykcha.com. And what it does is it's basic. It's really streamlined for the phone, so you can use it on your phone, obviously, as well as your website. So if you go on to mykcha, oh, sorry. I can't yell out my password. Okay, let me pull this up just real quick. I'm sorry. I know your time is super valuable. Anyway, it looks like we're having some internet things. Brent will work on that. But anyway, so the very first thing is the tab at the very top of this website, it says service availability, okay? The first thing is when we hire, we overhire. We want to have as many people out there doing what we do, which is bedbug work, as fast and as good as we can do it. We heard there was complaints. We have to wait 2 weeks. We have to wait 3 weeks. We have to wait a month to get a bedbug guy in there. Oh my goodness! Do you know how many places those people are going to go in 3 weeks? You're going to have it in this unit and in this unit, and now they're going to have it at that unit and this unit. And it's just not acceptable. And so what we did is, the first thing we did is we made sure that we're hiring people. We're continuing to hire people. We want to have it down to where we can do services. We're trying to get it within 24 to 48 hours. And if anybody's worked with us, they'll know that we have been I don't think we've ever gone over 5 days from the time somebody's asked us, to be honest, that I can think of. It may have happened. I just don't, it's not typical. And in most cases, we get it within the 48, and the reason we get it 48 is not because we can't be there in 48, it's because you've got to put a piece of documentation in the client's hand that says, oh, you're waiting the 48, and that's why it's the 48. In a lot of cases, we could get there next day. So the first thing that we've done is we've tried to have a whole bunch of guys that are super qualified, that are absolutely amazing. I mean, these guys, they work in 135 degrees with bed bugs, and they're doing it for 10 hours. The next time you don't like your job, we'll hire you. You can go sit in 135 degrees and move people's cluttered stuff around all day long and get those smells that you get when you move people's cluttered stuff around, and you gladly come to it. These guys and the girls that work for us are absolutely amazing. Okay, but the first thing that we did is the first tab is right here. Oh, it's up. So service availability, okay? If you click on this right now, you're gonna go to a link and it's gonna say, give me a password and stuff. At the bottom of that link, it will actually ask you to create a password and a thing. Once you have that, go into Washington. Once you have that, in real time, you're going to see what our schedule is. You no longer have to call and say, oh, where's Hans? Hans isn't answering his phone. Is he busy again? In real time, you can log into our server and it says, all right, well, we've got 2 services available tomorrow. Friday is not available at all. I've got 3 services available, and it looks like Tuesday is not available. So you'll be able to see in real time what custom bedbugs availability is for you getting a bedbug service. So you don't have to sit there and wonder, oh, how long do we have to wait to get the bedbug guys out here? The next thing is you can actually go in and click on one of those days, and then you can create a request. Once you create that request and put that information, it notifies us that King County wants a service, and it blocks off our calendar so somebody else can't use that time. So you, in essence, have the ability to lock up our calendar with services.
Don't mess it up with junk, though.
Yeah. Yes. So the reason we're doing this is we're trying to make it easier for you to get what you need. You have a lot of things to do in a day. Worrying about bed bugs, let us let us do that. That's what we do, okay? So that's the very first thing you're going to see on there. And then I put on here a little line for your password and your username. Once you get those, then you put it in there, and then you have access to our, you can see what availability we have at all times. The next one is your documentation tabs. Documentation tabs is going to take you to the videos, and Burgundy asked us that we play the video, and we'll do that in a minute. And it's also going to take us to the multi-language paperwork and downloads, okay? So we took, well, let's just go ahead and do the video real quick. I know we're at time, and I apologize, but Burgundy asked us to do the video. Can you click on the video there, Brent? So we created this for you.
Please follow these simple steps.
Where's the microphone? Hold on, push pause. Do we have the microphone?
Email and thermal.
So what we did is, because it's coming out of this right here. What we did is, because we knew that not all of your clients could read the language that they're seeing, we created a video.
These simple steps. We will email a thermal preparation checklist.
So we created this. This is in currently 6 different languages right now that we have translated.
To prepare for our service. The preparation checklist and the procedures in this video are important to follow to ensure that the treatment is as efficient and effective as possible. Organize, collect, and remove trash from all rooms and closets because we use high-velocity fans to move heat throughout the interior. Also, be sure to clear the area under your beds. Vacuum the carpets and rugs.
You guys, you get the gist of it, right? But it goes through a step-by-step of what we need as the provider that's going to give you the best percent of success in your units. It goes through step by step. It says, please do this, do this, do this, do this, and do this. So it's one more tool, but it's visual, right? Because we're visual people. If somebody gives me this big old checklist, you know, I get this, and this one right here is in Vietnamese, and I go, ah. First of all, I don't read Vietnamese, so that doesn't do me a lot of good. But I just go, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this. But if you give me a few minutes and I can watch a video in my language and I can understand it, that's going to help me be prepared. Does that mean they're going to do it? No, we're not going to fix these people that don't want to do this. No, not overnight. But what we will do is we're going to, with this greater net, we're going to capture these people that will look at the videos. So with each of these, you have the other language tab. Once you go to here, if you were to click on the other language tab, then it takes it in the different languages. Let's say you pick Korean, for example. You double click on the Korean, and then everything on that. Now go ahead and click that one more time right there. I'm still working on this part right here. Right here where it says get the info down at the very bottom right. Right here. I'm still working on it. I'll have it fixed by today. But anyway, now if you can see this is all changed in Somali. Right? So they can see it. Oh, well, this is my checklist for my heat in Somali. This is my liquid checklist in Somali. And then when you click on these, that's when these forms come up in their language. So they can, if they want to read it, they can read it. We are working on the videos for these other things, but it's a slow process to get a video made from start to finish. But we are working on that. Eventually, we want to have everything in video form so that your clients can just go in and look at that in video. So that's how the video, language, and the downloads work. If you need any of this, so you don't necessarily have to say, hey, can I get a sheet for this customer? No, you can just go to the website and send it to them, and then they'll have it in their language or whatever. Yes?
So do they have our password to be able to watch that?
No. That's only for scheduling. Password is only for seeing what our schedule is. Because again, I don't need all my competitors knowing exactly how many trucks I have wherever. That's for you guys to have. Yes, Teresa?
For a simpler thing, do you have anything on YouTube? I find out my clients love YouTube.
They all are on YouTube, but these are made just for King County because what we do in our company is a little bit different. We take our electrical outlets off and we do all of those types of things. And King County's like, no, they can't do that. We don't do that. And so we had to redo all the videos just to meet for King County's specifications. And so that's what these videos. But yes, On our website, yes, everything, with the exception of the King County. You won't see the King County stuff on our Google Plus and YouTube page. Okay. So the next thing is the very next thing is service tabs. It just basically goes over the different types of services that we offer. You know, from the heat to the chemical to the subcontracting of the canines, and just gives you a little bit more information. All right. Just like anything, not all heat is the same. The temp air, as you saw people talking about today, temp air in the industry. This is the Lexus of the bed bugs. These guys make heaters for bed bugs. That's all they do. That's not all temp air does, but that's what a temp air system is. Not all heaters are the same. Propane is very, very different than electric dry heat and all of these types of things. And so it goes over the services, and then the tab after that just goes into more of the videos, kind of switch spots in the videos. And then we've created a thing. Oh my goodness, would somebody who wants your business teach you how to do things yourself? Well, of course we would, because ultimately, if you have tenants that aren't taking care of their bed bug problems, and they're going to Starbucks, and I go sit at a Starbucks, I'm going to get bed bugs. And so I don't want bed bugs. And so ultimately, we need to educate everyone that A, bed bugs aren't a taboo, scary bug. First of all, they're not vectors, they don't create disease. But the other time is, there's some things that you can do yourself. There's some options that you can do for yourself before you have to call a professional. So you have the do-it-yourself tabs, and there's also a do-it-yourself inspection thing. And it goes through how to do an inspection. So if you have a new maintenance person, or if you have somebody that isn't familiar with bed bugs, A, they can come to this book, and that same inspection's in here, or they can go online and get it there. And then of course, the next thing is just the binder. The binder and the website are almost exactly the same in what they have, but again, the binder is just more for taking it back, putting it on the shelf, and letting the dust grow on it, and hopefully you never have a bed bug problem. But if you do, it's got a nice little picture of a bed bug, but it doesn't say bed bug right here. And you remember the one with the target that's killing the bed bug, that's where the bed bug stuff is. I gotta go pull that out because apparently somebody complained. But ultimately, we want to talk just for a minute about what we think the perfect service would look like for King County, and then we'll bring up the QA and we will get you out of here. We apologize.
Yeah, so just real quick, our basic service regimen goes like this. Our guys show up, we do our setup with the heaters and fans. The first thing they're going to do is coordinate with the tenant, let them know they can switch phone numbers or whatever, and that way they can let the tenant know what time they can come back. The tenant takes off or the homeowner takes off. We typically will start out by treating cracks and crevices with a liquid product, chemical pesticide, just to make sure that any cracks and crevices where bed bugs might be hiding, those are addressed. Then we turn the heaters and fans on, raise that temperature to 135 degrees. And once we get it up to temperature, our minimum heat time is 6 hours after we get it up to temperature.
And just so you know, no one is doing that. Most companies are sitting around 4 hours. And the reason we're doing that is because we don't want to come back any more than you want us to come back.
Yeah, so our big thing, when I own my pest control company, people are okay if they see an ant after the pest control guy shows up. They're okay if they see a spider, not that big a deal. Somebody sees a bed bug after they just spend a whole bunch of money to have their bed bugs gone. It's one single bug, unacceptable. So for us, because we realize how terrible these bugs are for people, we have zero tolerance as well. So we do all the things, best practices, to make sure that we're getting rid of the bugs on the first time. So we hold that heat temperature for a full 6 hours. During that 6 hours, the most important thing that we're doing is, like Molly and Hamilton corroborated, it's monitoring, okay? Making sure that everything in the unit is getting up to that critical temperature, because if it doesn't get up to temp, then you just basically wasted that entire treatment. So they go in and we're flipping mattresses over, we're turning pillows over, turning over couch cushions. Areas of clutter, we're picking up those clothes, spreading them out, going into a closet, and making sure all the clothes that are on hangers are spaced enough. We're redirecting fans, moving heaters around, all the different kinds of things that are going to make sure that that heat is being pushed into areas where it otherwise wouldn't go. And of course, 135 degrees, that is lethal temperature for a human. You stick a human in a space that's 135 degrees and leave them in there for 6 hours, they'll be dead. They're not gonna last very long, right? That's just too hot. So we make sure to be really safe with our guys. They go in about every half hour or so, and they're in there for only 10 to 15 minutes. They try to get as much stuff done as they can in 10 to 15 minutes, and then they come out. Once we are finished with the heat application, then we go in with the Cymexa dust, which Molly corroborated. It's the best stuff. We put that around electrical outlets and any other areas that bed bugs might be hanging out. Not just where they might be hanging out, but where bed bugs are likely to go if they get a reinfestation. The other thing that we do that's really effective is we put active guard liners on mattresses. We like to do that as an auxiliary part of our service. The active guard liners are laced with a permethrin product, so they're not an encasement to just keep bed bugs out. Think of them more like a fitted sheet that goes on underneath. We put them on upside down on the box spring, so you've got coverage underneath the box spring and wrapped around between the box spring and the mattress. When bed bugs walk across that active guard liner, they pick up the permethrin product and it kills them. So we go to all the national conventions that they put out. We're members of the National Pest Management Association, so we go try to make it to as many of their conferences as possible, so that we're always staying on top of the industry with best practices and not just best practices and protocols, but also the different products that are coming out. We do testing in our own offices to make sure that if a salesman's telling us their product is the best thing next to sliced bread, we get samples and we test them in our own I'll say laboratory test, but it's just in our office, just to make sure that what they're saying is true or not. So let's go ahead and bring up everybody that's presented, give you guys an opportunity for Q&A, and then get you guys out of here.